Hey everybody, I just wanted to give you a quick little message. I just got to my location where I'm doing some business today. I just want to give a little bit of what I've gone through to be able to get to the position of being an entrepreneur, being self-employed, give you a little bit of motivation. It's been a long time struggles with finding that right business, being able to make things happen, to get it going in the right direction. It's not always a success. There are some struggles that go through there. This is something since I've been probably 8 years old, working around with the garden and taking things to the neighbors and selling vegetables, getting that chance to be able to get in front of people, that was given an opportunity from my grandpa, and just going through and then building on that of learning different skills each and every single day and month throughout the time you grow up. So I've had, from even in third grade, I was selling craft supplies to some of my students or my co-students that I was going to school with in the third grade, and then it went from that into additional businesses, of being able to find things to be able to have a side hustle from very young age. And it's just always been that I've learned one of the things way early on is that if you have a lake or a pond or something, it's going to have multiple streams of income that fill that, and it's going to be something that if one of those incomes dry up, you are going to end up having that dry and start to drain your resources, and that goes with your income too. So ever since high school, I've been working on having to make my own money to be able to get the things that I wanted. I've really strived to earn most things that I've ever had. And from there, I had a business in school that I would go to the pawn shops, and I would buy some jewelry or stereo equipment and be able to sell those back and forth. So some of these things, all progressively, each one and everything I've ever done, I've learned a skill from each employer. I've hopscotched from an employer that I had my own auto detailing business from my senior year of high school on through, and I had clients that would drop off their car, throw their keys through a drop box in my garage, and that was on the grandparents' homestead, and I would have that place and location that I was able to excel and do what I wanted to do to be able to make some side money. And I found a necklace in one of the cars that I started buying and selling cars and flipping cars after I detailed them and learned window tinting. So I just learned a lot of different skills. And one of the cars that I found, there was a gold necklace in the bottom that was broken, and it fell off underneath the seat. I removed that, and I took it to a jewelry store and talked to them about how I detail cars and how I found this jewelry and then I wanted it repaired. And I ended up getting, he said, would you come to my house and be able to detail the car? So I went to his house, detailed a car. We had a 3-hour window that he was there while talking with me, learning that. And he goes, are you sure you wouldn't ever want to be into sales? And I figured that I was already in sales, doing what I was doing at the high school level and slightly after that. And he ended up saying, I don't have a space at my company, but I think you would be great for the one coworker or my competition. He ended up referring me and got me an interview to sell jewelry. So I was selling jewelry at 18, 19 years old. I was $60,000 away from making President's Club at 19, with my coworkers being in their 40s and 60s being able to sell, and I was outselling them at a very young age. So I kept on doing those skills, and I've learned so much in the last decade. So it was a great experience. From there, I've kept in contact with them. I've started having more clients that had a little bit nicer cars, better things drop off their cars. I was still doing that as a side hustle. I'd go into jewelry at maybe 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and I'd work until 9, get out, close the store, drive home. There'd be 3 cars waiting for me at the garage. I would detail 2 or 3, and they would be outside ready for pickup. And I built a very nice side business at that time. I learned then that was a great way to make a lot of money. I was doing the jewelry also, but I had to either grow by leaving the jewelry job, or I had to hire somebody else to start doing cars. And I would have friends that would come with me, and I had one or two cars that ended up getting a minor scratch on. They weren't done correctly. There was all these minor little things that I had to deal with the clients whenever I had an employee. So at about 19 years old, 20 years old, after 2 or 3 years in detailing in the jewelry industry, I had kind of set myself up saying, this is either going to be a lifetime thing that I'm never going to be able to step away with, never going to be able to go on vacation, and I'm going to have to hire somebody an employee. You might make $10 an hour. It costs the business owner double, typically $20 or $30 or $40 an hour to cover your insurance, your time, to cover the loss of wage of the training and all the things that go into an employee. And if you're not ever been an employer and have people work for you, it is a struggle learning to know what that response is for not understanding the back end product of how that works. So I decided that I was going to continue to do that, but I blocked off and I started working into different directions and learning additional skills. I worked for additional companies. I had some transfers this way, and I went through years of working in the jewelry industry. I think I have 15 years in jewelry collectively. I went and got laid off at one of the jewelry stores, and then I ended up working for another jewelry store, and then that one didn't really fit the needs that I had, the timing and everything. So I went to another one, and I just kept on moving and jumping around. And every time I moved and got a new job, I set the rate that I wanted to be, and I had the background and the referrals to be able to set that. So I ended up getting better and better pay positions, and I was at a height of my age bracket, and my peers thought, man, he has a really good job, but it never really set it for me that that's what I wanted to do. I always wanted something additional. So I ended up just always having a side hustle, always having multiple streams of income, always keeping that pond full of ideas and ways to make additional money and resources, but gaining skills sets from each one of those, always continually learning, never backing down on trying something new. And from that, I ended up having a lot of successes, and I've had a lot of failures, and it's been a great transition time, and there's a lot more that I have to say. I mean, I'll follow up in another little bit.